Hello YouTube, welcome to another one of my Duel Links videos. And today I have some Red Eye Zombie gameplay for you. Now this deck is nothing new. This deck has been in the game for a really long time. At one point it dominated the meta with the beatdown and ties that bind skills more than anything. And I really wanted to try it out. I know some of the people in my Discord, like Juju Beans, have been trying it out, and it got me to want to try it out for myself. And this is the build that I came up with. Again, it's a very standard build. You have your Gazuki and your Samurai Skull to send Red Eye Zombie to the graveyard. One Bacon Saber is always a nice tech to have that protection in the graveyard. I'm only running 2 Red Eyes inside. I feel like 3 is a little bit of an overkill, even though we have 3 Red Eye Spirits now, now that it's off the semi-limited list. Still running the 2 enemy controllers, too good not to run. We have Storm to take care of back row and try to push for game. This deck is very aggressive because of Econ take place, and because of your Gazuki going to the grave, maybe with that Econ take play and being able to special summon your Red Eye Zombie. The deck wants to be real aggressive, so that's why we have the Storm to get all that back row out of the way and just go for game. And then I throw in 2 Canadia. Canadia is really good in this deck because not only does it stop your opponent's plays, but it's very easy to bring back to the field because you're going to be using Red Eye Spirits. So it's really nice to have that extra monster for a potential Econ take play, or just for that extra 1200 damage, or to have another monster protecting your life points. The main things that I thought about when trying this Red Eyes is Amazonis is no longer as common as it used to be, and I feel like that really made this deck be able to get some spotlight, because against Amazonas they would really suffer with Gazukis getting banished or your Red Eyes being banished, and now that that's not as prevalent, the deck is doing very well. On the other side, we do have Blue Eyes, which is very hard to out in this deck. We do have the Econs and the Paleozoic Canadia to put them in defense mode, and with our skill we get to 2600, so we can out it that way, but it's definitely not the best matchup for this deck. There's also Vampires, which it's a really good matchup for this deck. Your Red Eye Zombie is going to be able to steal their monsters because they're all zombies, and you benefit from their Vampire Kingdom since all your monsters are zombies. So that's a good matchup for us. But that's pretty much it. Like I said, the deck it's nothing too special. We'll just jump into the replays. I went on a pretty good win streak with this deck. I played a little bit while I was at work. I got from Platinum 1 to Platinum 3, and that's when I stopped playing it. And I believe I only took 1 loss the whole time I was playing this deck. So yeah, it's still a very strong deck. We got Straight to the Grave, so we can have that Wasteland at the beginning. And this really helps with Storm too. Your Storm is going to be able to clear up an entire back row because you have that fuel spell going away. So we're gonna pick his Weevil Burn. I'm gonna send a Red Eye Zombie to the graveyard, and I pick up Storm, so that's all I need. When I activate Storm, Chain, or Red Eye Spirit, get rid of all that back row, and I can imagine how salty this Weevil player must have been. He had double Spike Shield with Chain and 1 Wall of Disruption. So now all I gotta do is send another monster to the graveyard so that I have something to banish and special summon a Samurai Skull. That way I have game, a little bit of overkill, but I wanted to be able to deal damage in case my opponent had a Creeper of some sort. But it was a nice OTK, all thanks to Storm. And then we have a Yubel matchup. Yubel is very popular right now. I don't know if it's a Platinum rank thing or if you also see them a lot in Legend, but Yubel it's just kind of an annoying deck to go up against. I didn't know how this matchup was gonna go, other than enemy controller and Canadia Storm combo, to destroy their Fire King Island. We don't have many outs to Yubel itself. So the way this duel played out, we're gonna send Bacon Saber to the graveyard right away. Take those, give my opponent 100 damage. He's gonna get Fire King Island and immediately go into Terror Incarnate. she's unfortunate. Or Guzuki is gonna go to the grave. We could banish Bacon Saber to summon a Red Eye Zombie, but there was no point there. This time I'm gonna go with Samurai Skull. At least when Samurai Skull gets destroyed, I'm gonna get a Guzuki. And basically all I'm doing here is trying to thin my deck as much as possible, just so that I can get to my Storm and, you know, my enemy controllers. I tributed there so that I had a Red Eyes in the graveyard. Unfortunately, I drew all of them, so I had to tribute and, you know, let it get destroyed. That way I have protection in the form of my Red Eye Spirits, because I'm trying to save this Canadian to flip Incarnate face down until I finally get that Storm, you know, for the Fire King Island. However, the duel doesn't really turn out like that, and I have to keep taking this damage, you know, saving both my Red Eye Spirit and my Canadian for when I'm gonna try to have game. Here we see the two monsters. I use my Bacon Saber on one of them, take the rest of the damage. The only good thing about at this point is that he keeps thinning his deck, you know, with all these searches. He's running out of monsters, so now decking them out is in play. I set my enemy controller to protect my life points. He destroys yet another monster in his Fire King avatar. Now I'm gonna go for the Storm play, get rid of his Incarnate. But unfortunately I didn't really have a way to special summon another Red Eye Zombie to go for game. He happens to have another Fire King Island, destroys my Guzuki. I summon my Red Eye Zombie. I go for the Econ take, but again I have no way of really dealing the rest of the damage, so I have to hope for the you know, the deck out. We're gonna use the Canadian here to summon another one on board. I'll go ahead and destroy his Fire King avatar, even though I know there's going to be a Terror Incarnate coming up. But my Canadian is unaffected, so I'll have something to protect my life points in that sense. And at this point, I figured they were out of monsters. I looked at their deck, they already used 3 Fire King avatar Yashka and 3 of the other ones, so all I do is deck them out. And at the end, I just show him, you know, I start to BM a little bit. I could have gone for Storm and potentially gotten game without decking them out, but I had 2 win cons there. He had no way of winning at all. Next we had a Crow Hogan. I've been leveling up my my 5Ds characters, taking advantage of the fact that I mean, I'm sure you guys know, but I had forgotten that you can now do the 3 times rewards in the gate. So if you just, you know, duel at level 10 legendary duelist with 3 times the reward, that's 1500 experience per duel. So it's really, you know, really fast experience to level all those characters up. It's kind of what I've been doing. But here we have a Garland Doll Relinquish deck using level augmentation. When it's a contract with the Abyss, he's gonna use the Jin. So his Relinquish is now unaffected by trap effects. However, he's not when he tries to take my Samurai Skull, I go for the Econ take. Summon my Bacon Saber, and the reason why I summoned the Bacon Saber and attacked the Relinquish was to check for a Kuribo before going for my Red Eye Spirit. Luckily he didn't have a Kuribo, so my Red Eye Spirit is also going to destroy that Senju. He sets 1 back row. I go ahead and tribute my Bacon Saber for a second Red Eye Zombie Dragon, and then my opponent scoops it up. Yeah, so he didn't really have a backup plan after that Relinquish, unfortunately for him, so it's a pretty easy win. Econ is still too strong, man, and it's such a good card in this Red Eyes deck, because most of the monsters you want engrave anyways. You want Bacon Sabers, you want those Guzukis to go for the special summon. So the Econ take, it's a pretty standard play in this deck. Here we're going up against Bandit Keith. We'll go with Red Eyes Insight right away. Get that Red Eye Spirit and set my Canadian. Summon Guzuki. Send the Bacon Saber for protection. And I didn't know at the time, but you know, this is the Vampire matchup. So he's gonna send Retainer, special summon to search Takeover. Pretty standard player. And you could say I made some misplays dueling against this guy. because math is a little hard. As you will see, he sets 3 back row, and I love that because I have the storm, so I can go for the storm. I'm gonna see the takeover. I'm gonna activate my Red Eye Spirits before the Econ take, so I'm completely fine with him taking my Gosuki, because the plan all along, this is where, you know, you could argue that this is a misplay. I keep his Vampire Kingdom on the board because I get the benefit of the attack as well, though because everyone's using zombies, the effect kind of cancels out. So I should have destroyed this just so he didn't have the resource to, you know, pitch for Familiar or pitch for Retainer, and also to not get the Vampire Queen's effect. But I'm gonna destroy my own Gosuki just to summon him back on the field, and also at the same time activate its effect to banish another zombie and summon my second Red Eye zombie from the grave. And at this point I felt pretty safe. There was no way he was gonna get a Vampire Vamp on the field. The most he could do is go for Vampire Grace. It's not even Vampire Queen. Vampire Grace, destroy one of my Red Eye zombies. I have a Bacon Saver so I can protect my Gosuki, and this was just trolling at this point. I activate my I draw into a Red Eye zombie, so I activate my Gosuki just to give him that false sense of hope that I misplay, and then I tribute for my Red Eye zombie, steal his Vampire Grace, and finish the game. Yeah, so as you can see, even though I didn't make the most optimal place there, you know, leaving the field spell was definitely a mistake. And then obviously milling at the end with Gosuki could also be considered a mistake. We still won the match relatively easy. So if you're seeing a lot of vampires, play some Red Eye zombies. Gosuki is definitely the most expensive part of the deck, but if you have Samurai Skull, it's just as good. You know, throw in 3 Samurai Skull and however many Gosukis you have. So here we're going up against Arcana. Trick up the sleeve, and I think this is a Blue Eyes matchup. And yeah, the best way to deal with Blue Eyes, like I said, for, you know, a Red Eye zombie deck is to just stop whatever they're doing. Don't let them get a Blue Eyes on the board. Here we see it's a hybrid with Heretic, which I thought it was pretty interesting. I actually need to look at this guy's deck because it was nice to see that, you know, he's running Heretic and Blue Eyes. So once he summons this, I know what he's trying to do. He wants to tribute with Cosmo Brain. So I'm going to use the Canadia on the Cosmo Brain. I take the 1000 damage. Go for the Red Eyes Insight. I already have 1 Spirit face down, so I can get my Red Eyes right away. My Canadia is going to be summoned, and this is what I meant. It's so easy to get your monster back because of your Red Eye Spirit. So I'm going to be able to clear his entire board thanks to that 1200 attack Canadia. And when we see again Protector with Eyes of Blue, I'm trying to stop him from getting a Blue Eyes on the board, so we're gonna go for the Econ take. Lovely to use our Canadia for that, and then that pretty much guarantees me the win there. Gonna send another Red Eye zombie. Attack, attack. Use the second Red Eye Spirit and finish the game. So yeah, the best thing you can do when going up against Blue Eyes is just stopping their plays before they even happen, and that was a relatively easy win there. So yeah, I think this deck is still pretty strong. Like I said, there might be some other counters, but the biggest threat, in my opinion, is the Blue Eyes. Vampire matchup is really easy. Didn't go up against any for hires, didn't go up against any Amazonas, but we are running Storm in case we go up against Amazonas. So I think the deck overall is still pretty good. Let me know what you think. Are you still using Red Eye Zombies? Do you think it's an old meta and it's just outdated, outclassed? I don't know. You decide. But thank you so much for watching. As always, like, comment, and subscribe if you want. Join my Discord if you haven't. The link will be down in the description. Along with my PayPal link if you guys want to support my channel, support my content. Really, really appreciate that. And till next time.